Alright, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today we're going to be reacting to something a little bit different. We're going to be going on the subreddit R skiing and reacting to memes, answering questions on the subreddit. We are going to go through and answer any questions we can and just react to things that I think are funny. This is kind of a new segment. I do frequent R skiing on my personal account, but I think it'll be fun to kind of roam through and see what's going on there. Typically, I like the skiing subreddit for the most part. I do find that there is a tremendous amount of bad advice. There is also a tremendous amount of good advice. I'd say it's essentially a coin flip, but I don't know. I haven't been on there in a while, so everything I'm seeing now will be for the first time, and you guys can react along with me. We'll kind of go into uncharted territories. When I do reaction content, I try really hard not to look at it ahead of time, just so that I'm not giving like a fake performance of a reaction. Or if I do watch a video ahead of time, I'll try to like give myself a few weeks to forget it. Luckily, I have the mental retention of a small goldfish, so it's pretty easy to forget stuff. But without further ado, let's jump into the subreddit and see what people are asking on r/skiing. But before I forget, if you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. I am the largest independent ski reviewer on YouTube, so if you want to support me, just liking and subscribing is the free way of doing that. We also have memberships, so you can get access to videos earlier. I also will have links to the skis that I like right now and sales and deals that I've found. Use those links, it doesn't cost you anything extra and it directly supports the channel. But without further ado, let's dive into the skiing subreddit. Alright, the first post that's on the top for the day is, what is the best way to learn to ski later in life? I am turning 35 in the fall. I live in the upper Midwest and done a fair bit of track style cross country skiing. I'm interested in learning to downhill ski in a safe and enjoyable manner. My cardio and general fitness is very good. I would like to learn locally if possible. Should I rent equipment? What should I wear? What are good goals and milestones? What is a reasonable budget? That is a great question, and I feel like a lot of people have that question. If you are new to skiing and want to learn later in life and you already do Nordic skiing, if you're pretty committed and you know that you like winter sports, I would say it's almost worth buying ski boots. If you're cautious, sure, maybe go and get some demo boots and, you know, just like get your first day on snow. But honestly, it's worth buying good alpine ski boots. Everything else from there is kind of built off of that platform. Are your feet comfortable? That will indicate whether or not you ski all day. Are your boots responsive? Are they the right flex? That will indicate how responsive your skis are. I really hate that kind of gatekeeping mentality of like, oh, you have to buy $300 or $400 boots. I don't think you absolutely have to if you're hesitant, but if you're like, I'm committed to this, I'm gonna spend like a solid winter learning this, it's worth getting the boots. As far as like how to learn, what I would do is I would book a lesson. If you're on a budget, get just like a public lesson with other people. If if you're balling with cash hanging out of your pockets like the Monopoly guy, book a private lesson. Those are much more effective. You get a lot more attention. You have somebody who's going to be really working with your style rather than doing drills that work with the broad group. But really, lessons are money well spent, assuming that you have a good ski school. It's hard to speak really broadly. I don't know where you're at. But in general, lessons tend to be a good value. The thing I would do before your lesson is I would go on YouTube and watch some instructional videos. I have one that's pretty good for like learning how to carve, but that's more for intermediates. Honestly, in my opinion, the best ski instructional videos I think on YouTube right now are Stompa tutorials. They do get into a little more freestyle and that won't be relevant to you, but as far as learning fundamentals of skiing and how skis work, I would honestly do that as a primer, just so you kind of understand what you're looking for, what your goals are going to be. I know that there's like Ski Dad and Tom Gelly and Deb Armstrong, but those are geared more towards intermediate to advanced skiers who are trying to break into carving. And they're also a little bit more granular in their teaching style, at least for how I learn. I want to understand more big picture, focus on one thing at a time. But your mileage may vary. You may find that those are good resources. I think that they can be good, but I think for like somebody who's brand new to it, you'll find it a little bit granular. I would watch the Stompa tutorials videos. I think those are really, really good. And just get a primer so that when you go into the lesson, you know what things you're kind of looking for and you have just that, like I said, you've got that base built out going into it. Primer, that's the word, you've got a primer. They also say, should I rent equipment? Yeah, renting beginner skis is all pretty much the same. It shouldn't matter too much, unless you're like, I'm gonna go ski 100 days to learn. Like I know some people go to the Alps and they take like 2 months to learn. If you're gonna do it a bunch, it might be worth it, but for the first day, you can get rental equipment. And depending on your ski hill, like our local ski hill has bundles for new skiers. So you get your ticket, your lesson, and your skis and boots. Boots is the one I would buy new. The rest is whatever. What should I wear? As little cotton as you can. You wanna wear, if you're a cross-country skier, you probably have base layers already, wear those. Get some decent snow pants, get a decent jacket. It just depends on what your climate is, really. I've got a whole video about that. Bring mittens, because if you're a cross-country skier, you're used to having a lot of blood flow. And while you do that when you're kind of skiing in the woods and you're learning, it's not as much, and you have those long chairlift rides where you will get cold. So, you know, it's the same fundamentals as Nordic skiing, but you need a lot more layers. And get some good wool socks. Get some smart wool socks for like 20 bucks. And just make sure that your shin is as smooth as possible. Like the sock is pulled up tight, it is smooth. I can't tell you how many times people have boot pain and foot pain because their ski socks are scrunched up. As far as goals and milestone, I don't know. That's just gonna depend on you, your teacher. But again, watch some of those Stomp It tutorial videos. And what is a reasonable budget? I have no idea. That depends so much on where you are. If you're on my home mountain, I would say for like season pass and gear, budget $1,000. If you're in Colorado or Stowe, Vermont, I don't know, triple that. It totally just depends on where you are and how expensive it is. That's a hard question to answer. It just depends on like your location and what time of year you're shopping. Seriously, how much you can spend on skiing can vary so much. If you're looking to buy your first pair of skis, I would look at old demo skis. You're really not gonna wear them out. You can find some good deals this time of year, but I don't know. You're asking like such a broad question. That would be like saying, how much do cars cost? It's like, okay, are you what state are you talking about? What country are you talking about? What kind of car is it? It's such a broad question that it's literally impossible to answer. All right, the next post is from user OKAD451. Are these boots safe to use? I'm new to skiing and recently bought a pair of used full tilt Descendant 6s. Any help is appreciated. See attached picture. Oh God. Really, all you need to see is this first picture. My brother or sister in Christ. Not only are those boots not safe to use, they're barely safe to look at. Oh my God. No, those boots are not safe to use. One, because you've got that piece underneath the toe box, like I believe they're called like boot pads or whatever, but they are not flat anymore, and the toe has been like carved off the fronts. I can't speak to backcountry skiing, but like for actually skiing, no, I would not use those, because essentially if you're compromising that form, you're compromising the connection from the ski boot to the binding, and that is an area you really don't want to compromise. Is it safe to use? I don't know, maybe you can get away with it, but I personally wouldn't. And this is part of why you don't buy used ski boots. I took my son to Play It Again Sports to buy him some boots, and I could literally see through the bottom into the shell of the ski boot, and I want to say they were like 45, 50 bucks midwinter. And it's like, at that point, I'll just spend the extra 50 bucks and buy him something new, so I don't have to worry about it. There was nothing good in the shop. I mean, your mileage may vary. I've found really good deals. When I'm buying kids stuff specifically, I've bought ski boots on Facebook Marketplace where the kid had only used them 3 days. But in general, as a rule of thumb, just buy your ski boots new. You can buy everything else used pretty much, except for maybe long underwear. And even then, like, you know, wear a layer of underwear underneath that. Yeah, I would not touch these boots with a 10-foot pole. I'm really picky about ski boots. One of the comments says you could replace the pads and you're good to go. That is true, you can replace those pads and that may fix it, but I can see shaving around the top of the toe. And honestly, when you start putting money into replacing the pads, it's like, you might as well just save that money and buy a new pair of boots. And maybe being a little uppity about this, but I tend to not mess around with boots. It's like boots and helmets. Just buy them new. It's not worth it. The rest of the pictures look fine, but I don't know. I just wouldn't mess with it. I would be like, this is a money pit. Because, okay, we're gonna spend some money on that, maybe we spend some money to get some boot work done, and suddenly you've spent more money working on the boots than they're worth. Just save your money for a new pair of boots. It's not worth it. This is what I'm saying too. I feel like these subreddits sometimes have good advice, but it really is like a coin flip as to whether or not you're gonna get good advice in the comments. Also, speaking of ski boots, I had submitted my warranty claim on my Atomic boots because the two pieces of plastic had basically like wedged together, and I didn't put like rickety ski reviews on anything. I just submitted a warranty claim through Evo where I bought them, and can I just say evo.com gave me the best service. I know that they're an affiliate or whatever, but you know, it's like a small percentage. I could easily go with any other brand, but I will say, like, on a first person basis without any special treatment, they not only submitted the warranty claim for me, the lady who worked with me was super nice. She's like, I'll let you know as soon as I send out a pair, or I'll hold a pair aside so we don't lose your size so that you don't have to wait. She even was like, oh, let me know when you've put the boots in so I can make sure that we get everything on our end. Evo.com for warranty claims is like white glove treatment. It was really nice. I submitted a warranty claim as well for my skis, and I have yet to hear back on that. And the local ski shop was fine. They did a good job too. But I just gotta say, I was nervous about it, and Evo did such a good job with my warranty claim. And I got my new boots. They came in today, which is really cool. Kudos to Atomic also for honoring their 2-year warranty. I was amazed by that. I know ski boots can have wear and tear, but these ones had a defect and they rightfully replaced it. So like I said, I'm not sponsored by any of these people, but big shout out to Atomic. I really appreciate them honoring my warranty, treating me well, even though I didn't put any special things on it that would let them know that I had a YouTube channel. So very cool. And I think that goes to show, like, when you're looking at used boots, I bought those boots for maybe like $300, $350 in the summer, and I got like a full $500 boot because they haven't gone on sale yet. And honestly, that is worth it. It's such a better value in my mind to just buy them new, get a warranty. I just think that's like added value for buying new ski boots. So I highly, highly recommend, if you're able to, buy new ski boots. If you're not able to, just do whatever you can. But that's like the first thing I would allocate my funds to, you know, on a limited budget. Okay, the next post comes from Ronald09. Hello, any tips on buying used skis? A local seller is selling a pair of Rossignol Super 7 HD for $50 and they're in good condition. Are these too old to be using them, or would they be fine? Thanks. That's a good deal, especially if it's a local seller and it says that they're 2019, 2018. They're probably fine. The biggest thing you want to worry about, honestly, is the bindings. Like, how old are the bindings? Because if the bindings had been used for a few different skis before they made it onto the Super 7, that's when you want to be careful. I know places like REI, they will test the bindings for you, or any local ski shop. So what I would do is, if you do buy them, get the bindings tested out. It's not worth injuring yourself over. As far as the value of buying older skis, here's the thing. You can absolutely buy skis that are that old. Probably 5 to 10 years is safe. However, skis have come such a long way in the last 5 years that I would probably try to buy something like 2 or 3 years old. I think that's like peak. They've devalued, but you're still getting a really nice new build because they haven't really cycled much in the last 3 years. So I would buy like a 2022 ski. That's when a lot of the big upgrades happened. And that's the kind of year I would buy. Because think about it this way. Sure, you're saving money. You're buying skis for $50, whereas like, you know, a modern day ski with bindings, you're probably looking at $400 or $500. Just, you know, where it's in the summertime. But the amount of money you're spending wherever you are on a season pass, on gas to get up the hill, food if you're up there, if you don't live near a ski area and you're paying for hotel and lodging, the actual skis you buy is kind of a drop in the bucket when you look at the big picture. And in my opinion, skis have improved so much since the Super 7. Honestly, they have. They're lighter, they're more responsive, they're like doing amazing things with flotation and carving. They're not as like kind of pigeonholed as they used to be with what they're able to do. I would honestly just buy like a newer pair of skis. Maybe get some demo skis for like $300 that are from last year. Maybe find some 2022 skis that didn't sell. I don't know. There's plenty of deals. Shops are having an impossible time moving inventory. If you're spending all this money to ski anyway, you might as well get on a modern ski because they are absolutely fantastic. Again, that's just my 2 cents. You can do whatever you want. I'm not trying to be elitist or uppity, but I really think if you're spending all that money to ski anyway, you might as well get some nice skis that you like. Skis have come such a long way in the last 6-7 years since 2018 skis. But just my 2 cents. What do the comments say? Check the edges to see how much room is left for tuning. Unless skis have been drilled multiple times or the edges are almost gone, you should be good to go. Old bindings is where you run into trouble. Yep, that's the same thing I said. Yeah, you can tell this person's probably East Coast when you're worried about room for tuning. People on the West Coast hardly touch their edges, which is fine, they don't need to. But it's always like kind of an indicator. $50? Bro, if you don't buy them, I will. I think people, yes, it is a good deal, but they're forgetting that like modern skis are so good, and people, if the bindings are like 15-20 years, they may not even touch them, right? If they're already old when they went on the other skis, I don't know. People sometimes will put older bindings because, you know, 2018 was now 7 years ago for ski life cycle. If they put on a binding that was, you know, 5-8 years old, now you have a 13-year-old binding. That's rough. Yeah. I'm not trying to be elitist. I just feel like if you're already spending that much money, you're kind of tripping over dollars to pick up pennies. All right, I think that's enough schlumming through the recent posts. Let's look at the top. All right, this is just an article from Altera CEO. 15 days ago says skiing has reached a tipping point. Resorts need to ease pain of really, really mad customers. All right, this was written by the Colorado Sun. In a Q&A, we talked with Jared Smith about climate change, next-gen finance, and growing skiing without tarnishing the experience. Colorado Sun reporter Jason Blevins sat down recently with Altera Mountain co-CEO Jared Smith at the annual Mountain Travel Symposium at the base of the company's Palisade Tahoe ski area in California. The April 17th conversation for the 800 attendee gathering resort tourism industry leaders covered a lot of ground. Smith, who came to Altera in 2021 after nearly 20 years at e-commerce giant Ticketmaster. Speaking of evil companies, they pulled this guy right from the pits of hell. Holy moly. Ticketmaster? You mean the whole reason like people can't go see Taylor Swift in the US? I've talked to 3 different people locally who've said, we're gonna go see Taylor Swift in Europe because it's that much cheaper. Okay. The Colorado Sun says, you spent 17 years at Ticketmaster, including a year as a global chairman. What are some of the lessons you learned at one of the world's largest e-commerce companies that can transfer over to the decidedly slow-to-tech resort industry? Jared, I continually find myself, finding applications for a lot of what we did in sports and entertainment to the ski industry at large. The ski industry is as complex a business that I think exists on Earth. The physicality of it, the conditions of it, the variability of it, the seasonality, the things you can't control are way outnumbered by the things you can. Just the sheer amount of manpower that it takes to open a mountain every day. It is a tough, tough business. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, getting to the point a little bit here. The Sun says, I think skiers as a community need to do a better job of welcoming the first-timers and recognizing their role in sustaining the sport for future generations. The community needs to be more welcoming? How about the ticket prices from the resort? Oh my God, the Colorado Sun. That sounds like an intermediate skier with dope snow stuff that got picked on or something. Smith says, we need to do a better job of getting people to understand the economics of this business. I mean, let me just give you some stats. We've got 230 chairlifts across our company. The average cost of a chairlift 10 years ago to replace, the average cost would have been somewhere in that $8 million range. Today, that's $15 million to $60 million. The average age of our 230 chairlift is somewhere around 30 years, and we have a young fleet. So this business, it just eats capital for breakfast, for lunch. The cost of operating these places is really, really high. The people who love these places, they need to better understand what it takes to put this on. God. Okay, if it's not profitable, how did you go from Ticketmaster to this? Yeah? Was Ticketmaster paying you peanuts? What a bunch of baloney. So let's say you have 230 chairlifts and you have to replace them. Let's say you just replaced all of them times 15 million, $3.45 billion. Now that sounds like a lot, but when you consider Vail Resorts made somewhere around 900 million in the course of, let's just say like 10 years, you can basically pay that off. And you said that the average life is 30 years? I don't know. It seems like a sizable cost, but if you look at the big picture of how long these chairlifts are running, like my local chairlift had been running for almost 50 years before they took it down. And they mostly took it down because it was a double and it was in a weird spot. I have a hard time believing that you guys don't just eat up that cost eventually. I'm sure, yeah, some of that overhead is high, but the amount of money you guys are making in all these different areas, not to mention that these ski lifts, that's only part of it. Like day tickets and ski passes is only a piece of it. How much are you making in restaurants? How much are you making at the hotels? How much are you making in entertainment? This stuff all feeds itself. So when a CEO gets you like super tracked in on one thing, they're kind of distracting from the bigger picture of how much income really comes in across the board. I mean, I don't know the specifics, but I don't know. It doesn't track. It doesn't hold that much water in my opinion. What do the comments say? You don't find your CEO at Ticketmaster if skier experience is your priority. Yeah, Ticketmaster is just the worst. It's like the reason I don't go to concerts anymore. Oh, well, this is a really popular concert, so it's going to cost more, and we have like, oh, we don't want scalpers, so we'll just host the scalpers ourselves so we can get a piece of it. What a joke. Ticketmaster, in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, Ticketmaster has pretty much single-handedly ruined concerts. And I've heard that there are like even artists that don't want to use Ticketmaster, and they're forced to based on the venues. Like if you want a really big venue, they'll only do it through Ticketmaster. They've got these big contracts in place. As if skiing didn't have enough issues, now we've got the Ticketmaster CEO involved. I can't believe that like you could get a job after being the CEO at Ticketmaster. That seems like the kind of thing you finish your whatever 20, 30 year run there, and then you just retire for life. The next comment, I didn't realize he spent 20 years at Ticketmaster before Altera. He successfully made my two favorite things unaffordable, concerts and skiing. The comment below that, calculated misery, next CEO will be hired from Frontier Airlines. Oh, you want the heated chairlift seat? That'll be extra. Yuck. Okay. Well, anyway, that was kind of a fun experiment, looking at the subreddit. Maybe I'll do that every once in a while again. That was kind of fun. Let me know in the comments if you liked it. If you didn't, let me know that too. You know, I can do something else next time. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. That's a free way to support the channel. I will also have, we just set up a company Venmo and a company coffee. If you want to support the channel, you can also become a member and get a bunch of perks. But as always, more than anything, just thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.